Hi all, this is Dr. J at 11, streaming to you live from Long Island, New York, where it's been a crispy, if not chilly day as summer is quickly fading away. Well, the market rally doesn't seem to be fading, although it was a little weak today, the general indexes. The NASDAQ being the exception to the rule, with the FANG very strong on the day. My Apple, which I told you about yesterday as an ideal trade, practically hit its take profit point in a single day today. So we're going to take a look at the charts of Geron, Athersys, Actinium, Apple, CVM. I might have forgotten one, but we'll still take a look at it and try to answer the question in general. Is this a good time to be buying biotech stocks? So with that, I'm going to first, let me say hi to the 3 viewers who are following me live. I didn't give you much notice, so I appreciate the fact that you were able to drop everything just to come on and chat with me live. And please, I encourage you to write chat questions or comments. I will try to answer them after I come back from looking at the video charts, which we're going to be doing right about now. And that'll take about 3 seconds to load. Okay, count. 1, 2, 3. All right, 5 seconds. Let's take a look first at ADXS. That's the one I forgot to mention. Advaxis Pharmaceuticals, Inc. Advaxis, I think, is a very local company, a New Jersey company. If I'm correct, they're located in Princeton, unless I'm getting confused with another one of my favorite biotechs. But in any event, I believe I'm right. Advaxis is an immunotherapy company which has 5 drugs in its pipeline that it's collaborating with, the likes of Merck, Amgen, AstraZeneca, Bristol Myers Squibb, and a bunch of others that it has licensing agreements with. All of this under its new CIO, Kenneth Berlin. I had his name wrong the other day. I apologize to Kenneth Berlin, but I assure you I will not forget your name as you lead Advaxis back from the depths of 77.5 pennies back to respectability, back to above $1, back to above $1.15. $1.15 is my target. I told you all along, those who follow me, that I am accumulating on a daily basis shares in Advaxis. I think it's making a nice turn here. And let me remind everyone to do their own due diligence, that my opinions are my own, and that you should consult with an investment advisor before acting on anything that Dr. J says, even though Dr. J occasionally does have good ideas. But nevertheless, anything you follow me on is at your own risk. And what more can I say? You know, you're responsible for your own money. And heck, I don't let anybody touch my money. I make all my own calls. In any event, I don't want to get distracted from what I was saying too much. I'm looking for $1.31 after the $1.15. So first I'm looking for $1.15. I'm going to sell some of Axis. Then when it gets to $1.31-ish, $1.30-ish, I'll sell a little more. And I think I'll keep the rest. So this is going to be a long-term play for Dr. J if things go well. If things don't go well, I'll just get rid of it and take my loss. But I really, really like the fundamentals of this company as well as the chart. So I'm very, very keen on this company. it's a small position currently, but I hope to build it up to a substantial position. Okay, so Geron. Geron is the most interesting of all my biotechs. Before I look at any other quote, I look at Geron. Before I look at any other chart, I look at Geron. When I get up in the morning, first thing I do is look for news on Geron. Before I go to sleep at night, I check to make sure that I didn't miss any news on Geron. I am a Gurniak all the way, as an infamous stat writer referred to Geron enthusiasts as Gurniaks, Geron maniacs. Well, this Geron maniac is of the opinion that Johnson & Johnson will move forward in its clinical trials with Geron through its Janssen subsidiary. A decision is expected on this week. That's why there's all this trending stuff with Geron on StockTwits, on Twitter. There's a lot of stuff on Geron for a tiny little company with a market cap of 1.1 billion. So what did Geron do today? Nothing much. It just had a range of 547 to 622. Typical crazy range. Well, maybe not typical considering this 5 days before. But we are in play. It is, and unfortunately, I don't count this move as meaningful in terms of giving us a clue as to whether or not Johnson & Johnson will buy us out, will continue with the trials, or will walk away. So while it's very nice to see this candle, and we may get another follow-up day tomorrow where we hit about $7 a share, I wouldn't be at all surprised. At that point, there will be those who take profits and drive it back down. So I think 7 is the top that I could see for Geron. I think we bump against this trend line. And that's all during the time that we're waiting, assuming that news doesn't break at any minute. So news breaking, all bets are off. We could zoom up to $10 a share pre-market if it's tomorrow morning, or if they're walking, we might zoom down or collapse to somewhere around 250 a share, maybe. Taking a guess. So Geron is a real big gambling stock right now. For me, it's been years and years and years of investing, not a gambling stock. It's a one stock. I don't think I've taken a single share off the table. I've just been adding on dips. Last time I added was actually in the very low 5s. So I've been buying Geron in the 1s and the 2s and the 3s and the 4s, and just for the hell of it, a drop in the 5s. Okay, so what can I say? I've been saying a lot about Geron. I gave my reasons why I think there'll be a positive decision, but I also warned about having a plan no matter what the decision is. Everyone who owns Geron long or even short should have a plan based on the results, based on the news. I'm really not only am I anxious to learn about Geron, whether Johnson & Johnson will continue the trials or not, but I'm very anxious to look at the data, in particular for MF. Okay, CVM. CVM is sell-side, and sell-side under the leadership of CEO Gert Kirsten has been a phenomenal stock over the last month or two, coming off of its long bottoming process. It made a fantastic move along a very steep upward trend line, which in my opinion just can't continue unless there's breaking news. So I took a little off 3 days ago, right about here. I took a little, not a little off the table. I closed my position, albeit it was a small one, because I'd made like 120% on my money. And I put it into Advaxis, Actinium, I think those two. It doesn't mean I'm not going to be back in this one. I have my eye on it on a daily basis. I think it could easily do another touch of this downward trend line, maybe at about $4.10 or even higher. Maybe probably $4.10, right around there. And I think it will then give back a bunch. And it may just be that I get back in about what I paid for it. I think it'll hit the mid threes again. I think it will revisit the mid threes. But I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong for the sake of all CVM shareholders. Godfather Fraser told me that why do I get rid of my CVM? There's room for it to run. And yes, there is room for it to run. So I hope you're right. I hope it goes to 10. I hope it continues its hyperbolic run. I'm not going to worry about it. I didn't have that much big a position anyway, so it's not going to be one that I kick myself off too much. Athersys should have run away. Athersys, I have a tremendous amount of this company with CEO Gil Van Brocklin at the helm. He is a very capable man. I've shared his vision of Athersys being another Celgene or the next Celgene. He's a visionary. He's a very capable man. He's launched a big trial together with Helios in Japan, Helios KK. They're exploring, or I think they're just about finalizing an agreement to move into China with ischemic stroke, which of course is stem cell technology, regenerative medicine. So I'm enthused about this company. I own, next to Geron, this would be my second biggest position in technology. I think potentially it can be bigger than Geron. So yeah, I really do. So I'm very enthusiastic about this one. It's trading in a not that narrow a range, but a well-established range of $1.85 to $2.10. If it breaks above that 210 range, I see it going to new highs for the year, believe it or not. Take out the 309. I think this is possible before the end of the year. So this is an opportunity to pick some up as it backed off the low of 185. Okay, so this one is worth either buying or watching, maybe buying it above 210. Whatever suits your fancy. Let's take a look at Actinium Pharmaceuticals, which is headquartered right here in New York City, not far from where Dr. lives in Eastern Long Island. A little bit of a trip, but not that far. CEO'd by the CEO is Dr. Sandesh Seth, and he seems to be steering this company in the right direction. The company was founded by doctors from Memorial Sloan Kettering. So this is a reputable company, and it has some very reputable drugs. A and B. One is Actimab, one is Ziomab. Don't ask me which is which. But the results are due on the clinical trial for, I believe, A before B, even though B is further along. Does that make any kind of sense? I hope so. In any event, we're expecting news on data pretty soon. And good news should for this little trading range that we're in and take us higher following this upward trend line. So it's very important that we continue following this upward trend line as opposed to start following this downward trend line. So we'll see what happens in the days to follow. I got to keep my eye on this one. As I've been adding lots of shares to this one, I'm very keenly interested. So Apple, I suggested a trade yesterday that practically is resolved today. So let's take a look at the chart of Apple. If it ever comes on, bomb-bee, 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 bomb. There we go. Okay, yesterday I said it's very near this lower trend line. It looked like a buy at the open, and then set a target for the set a moving take profit along the upper trend line. And the stop loss if it gets away from that lower trend line at the lower trend line. So right now the stop loss would be, if you got in at the open, let's see, where was the open today? The open today was 216.82, so you would have gotten in at 217. You would have made 4 points already. And looking very close to being successful in closing that trade maybe tomorrow. So now this is a trade you don't ever have to close. You can just leave it open until it touches the lower trend line again. If you want to let it ride, that's how I play it. I'd have a visual stop. I'd have a mental stop along the trend line. So if you want to gamble, just play it that way. You want to take your profits, play it the visual stop, mental stop at the upper trend line. Apple is a phenomenal company. I don't have to talk about its products. You know them better than me. X, XS, XS Plus, the new one that's coming in October. That'll be $250 cheaper. Dr. J is going to buy 2 of them, one for himself and one for his wife. XS for her and the XS Plus for me. They're having some kind of a 2-for-1 sale almost. If I open another, that's my carrier, Verizon. In any event, you're not interested in Dr. J's purchase of iPhones, I'm sure. So let me stop when the stopping is good and get back to see if there's any comments or questions from the group that's following me live. There are 7 viewers now. If there were more earlier, you would have had trouble getting on because the limit, I believe, for Google Hangouts is 9. So I think we're well above, we might have been well above the 9. I was above the 9 earlier today when I had my broadcast on Geron and J&J. You might want to look at that. That answers the question, do you have a plan? And should you have a plan? And the answer, I'll tell you the answer, yes. And you can watch my video, the earlier video on why it's important to have a plan. We should all have a plan. All right, may you all have a great day trading tomorrow. If I don't catch you early, probably won't until the market wrap tomorrow. So I bid you ciao, goodbye, adios, amigo, shalom, sayonara, au revoir.